This is the look of pain. Freezing, every muscle aches. Physically, everything says quit. Simply standing is hell. But these guys won't give up. They'll stand up for Great Lakes. But how did they end up here?
We love the water. We're here to do something crazy to bring about issues that are affecting our Great Lakes, the ever-growing issues.
Down there is Quinn Morris, Jeff Guy, and Joe Lorenz. I met them at the Thunder Bay International Film Festival this year. They invited me to capture drone footage of them the next morning. I did think they were a little crazy. After all, it was January. This is Thunder Bay, right off the shores of Alpena. But they weren't out in the weather for the heck of it. They were training for something big.
We're training when people don't like to paddleboard. I mean, the high winds, the ice, cold temperatures, headwinds. We train for the worst, so then we're prepared for the worst.
They're going to attempt to paddleboard across Lake Huron, 90 miles to Tobermory, Canada, all for something they believe in, something worth standing up for.
Jeff and I had grown up together, and one winter actually we met Joe, and Jeff and I had talked a little bit about crossing the lake, and he was like, dude, I had that same idea, let's get together. And so that's when Stand Up for Great Lakes was born.
It all started in the winter of 2014 as an idea. They wanted to cross Lake Michigan, all to raise awareness for issues around the Great Lakes. They did make that 60-mile trip. Then it grew into a cause.
This lake's pretty important to me, and I think 2 years ago when we saw it get trashed, we decided we need to do something about it.
In 2015, thousands of people trashed Torch Lake after a 4th of July party on the sandbar.
Just seeing that, one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen and paddled, be destroyed by, those cups floating down and the plastic and beer cans, which is, it's not what we want people to see when they come here. It's not what we want to see when we paddle.
Ever since, they helped clean up.
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like we're actually doing something to make a difference.
For many, Line 5 in the Straits of Mackinac is a growing concern.
Really, our cause is to raise awareness about what's going on in the Straits. So there's the Line 5 that Enbridge owns, and we want to show facts on both sides. Let's get Enbridge, let's do interviews, let's get them talking. Let's get people that are opposed to it talking. Where are these facts coming from? And I think everybody, even Enbridge, can agree that a spill in this location would be the worst place in the world.
Bridge looks beautiful, water looks great.
So they organized a paddle with 2 of Quinn's students from Elk Rapids Cherryland Middle School to cross the freezing straits. In April, all to keep the conversation going.
It showed me I can take on a lot more responsibility than I thought I could. I've seen how many people that this has gotten out to, how many people it's affected.
Whether it be a Great Lake, a river, or even a small pond, their love is clean water.
It's kind of what our motto is, stand up for Great Lakes, big and small, not just the Great Lakes. And that's why we don't have the in our logo. It's stand up for Great Lakes. So we think all the lakes, especially in Michigan, are great.
This time, they're standing up for the largest freshwater preserve in the country, the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary.
Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary is 4,300 square miles of Lake Huron, and below those waves is an incredible collection of the rich history of the Great Lakes. There's about 200 shipwrecks that are hidden below those waves, magnificently preserved by the fresh water of the Great Lakes.
When the first European explorers came to this area, they called Lake Huron a freshwater sea. When people started settling and commerce started moving up and down the lake, many would find Huron is just as deadly as the oceans. In the heart of Lake Huron, Thunder Bay, off the shores of Alpena.
Back in the late 1800s, when there were thousands really of schooners and hundreds of steamers, it was, a lot of collisions. So collision course, really. High traffic, like an interstate of traffic here in northwestern Lake Huron.
With 200 shipwrecks that one has sank for just about every single reason you can imagine. Human error, fog, but really weather is a big part of it. And if you look at the chart of where we are located, there's three things really converge in this area. We have the upbound and downbound shipping lanes come together right off of Alpena. We have two weather patterns that collide right in that same area. And then out there's a series of islands and reefs that come, and all those things happen at one time, and it helped give this area the name Shipwreck Alley.
As a result, about 1,000 ships litter the bottom of Lake Huron. About 200 of those lie in the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary.
These ships are preserved better than anywhere else in the world, and it gives us a great way to connect to our past through exploring these sites. Divers, kayakers, snorkelers, even on a glass bottom boat, you can go visit these wrecks and realize how significant this area is.
A lot of people, when they think of a sanctuary or an underwater preserve, they think that it is closed off to the public. But our main mission here at Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary is to invite people in to experience the Great Lakes and their rich history.
We want people out in the sanctuary. We want people out exploring. We have a program right now called Get Into Your Sanctuary, which is encouraging people to get out and recreate in the sanctuary. And we feel the more people get out and enjoy this resource, the more they'll want to protect it.
You can also learn and explore by walking through the museum in Alpena. So whether it's a shipwreck, a beach, a lighthouse, or their museum, the Friends of the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary want people to enjoy their natural resources. That's when Stephanie Gandula heard about the guys from Stand Up for Great Lakes.
I saw on Facebook this team of paddlers, Stand Up for Great Lakes, had paddled across Lake Michigan, and I thought, wow, well, if they can do that, maybe they'd like to paddle across Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. So I reached out to them and said, I've got a body of water for you guys to paddle across. Didn't know if they'd take me seriously or not, but had a great conversation with Quinn Morris, and that was a couple of years ago, and since then we've just been working really hard to make it happen.
To put the 90-mile paddle in perspective, this is not doing a marathon. This is like doing a couple of marathons in the same day. I mean, what they are going to try to do in pretty treacherous waters, again, an area that has been stamped Shipwreck Alley.
You don't just hop onto a paddleboard and cross Lake Huron. A lot of planning goes into a trip like this. 2 safety boats were needed, along with crew.
287-foot-long wooden freighter.
And on May 19th, 2017, we all gathered for a safety paddle.
We're trying to shoot for the Tobermory region, and so meeting the captains was priority 1. Talking about safety, game planning, where we're launching from, getting them used to our lights, getting them used to our speed and our pace and things like that.
A part of it is knowing that the boats are there for emergency situation only, and that's one of those things where we would like to do it with just us 3, because if it's just us 3, you got to make it no matter what. But we all have people that care about us, we all care about other people, so it would just be irresponsible, I think, and selfish to do without the boats.
Planning for weather is never easy. That's one of the reasons why Quinn, Joe, and Jeff picked Ryan Matuzak to be the captain. He did Lake Michigan with them and knows the Great Lakes well.
Historically, what we found is that the winds would be the best at that midpoint of June, historically. So what we were hoping for is a day where we had some high pressure and light winds out of the west.
With all that in mind, a week in June was set as our window. If the weather patterns didn't set up right between June 13th and the 21st, the trip wouldn't happen. Luckily, the weather god shined down on us, and on June 18th, everybody headed to Alpena. With boards unpacked and nerves high, EMT and firefighter from Alpena, Mike Sanders, took the guys' vitals and talked safety.
If you do get hypothermic, it's not the end of the world. There is some things, like increasing your calorie intake, increasing your sugar. I'll probably give you some glucose at that point.
I always find it very interesting to watch people, as a paramedic, to watch people kind of dip their toe in the deep end of the pool, so to speak. great things happen. You see the best of people.
It's finally here, 2 years. Planning for 2 years and it's here. Nerves right now for sure.
The morning was finally here, June 19th, 2017. With the safety boats waiting offshore,
Very nervous.
Anxious to get going.
Feels good.
it was time to go.
Don't worry, we'll be all right. Joe will save me. You guys are all see you tomorrow, Jeff. Love you. Very proud of you.
On the adventure of a lifetime.
It's so awesome to be able to find a passion and be able to do something about it in a big way. Like being able to do something that we love so much is pretty spectacular.
Only 90 miles to go.
Go get them.
The day started picture perfect.
It was super nice. It was a little windy, but it was a perfect start.
When we first started, it was great. I mean, we were having fun, it was sunny, we were getting a little bit of a tailwind.
The spirits are really high. I mean, couldn't ask for better weather, better waves, better start with that wind. I mean, it's awesome.
And as luck would have it, they got to take one of their first breaks over one of the shipwrecks they're standing up for, the 173-foot Ogarita. She sank in 1905 because of a fire.
It was like 90 feet down, but we could see straight down, and we paddled right over that sucker. That was real cool.
You know, seeing a shipwreck in Shipwreck Alley, you know, it was amazing. And to be in the National Marine Sanctuary, and we're paddling across it, and it's a lot bigger than it looks like on a map.
It wasn't just Joe, Jeff, and Quinn having a good time.
Elmo and I picked out some lures we thought would probably be fun, and that sure turned into some great entertainment. The paddlers got to watch us reel in some lake trout.
Yeah, my friend.
And the next thing to happen, I swear you couldn't script.
We were really trying to get that steelhead bite, and so we got one coming across Huron, and the great thing was I'm hollering to Jeff as Stephanie's trying to reel for us that, hey, the fish is coming, because I could see him jumping behind Jeff. The next thing we know, the steelhead jumps right on the board with Jeff.
Jeff guy extraordinaire caught this fish. Look at that. Oh man.
Looks like a steelhead.
Bring that thing here.
Steelhead, bring it in.
He's putting it under his neck.
Then,
Go! It's gone.
He lost it.
That was awesome.
I couldn't have been.
That was fantastic.
He thought he was going to get rescued, maybe,
Oh, he was about to get rescued into the grill.
into our belly.
that was a moment everybody will remember, but made the rest of the trip difficult for Jeff.
And the fish jumped right on my board, and so the next break, I've got this little seat to sit on, and man, I need to stretch my hip. So I go to sit on that seat, and it's covered in fish slime, and I slide right off into the water. And I only have my dry suit on halfway. So I'm like my bottom half is like filled up with water and couldn't get it out.
That's when Lake Huron said fun time is over.
So here's the deal. We got these ones here and those ones there. They both are legit storms.
It started to rain and I got cold and I sort of struggled for a few hours. And I'm thinking, man, if it gets cold at night and I'm wet, this is gonna be rough.
It rained for almost 5 hours.
So we got wet, it rained, and the winds kind of shifted. It came at us a little bit, northeast a little bit. It was kind of a wash machine for a while, and that was kind of the worst part because that's what makes your legs the most tired.
When I first got cold, my legs were sort of like wobbly. I was feeling like a baby deer, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this for 20 more hours.